Hey, what's up, guys? Today we're finally getting into relationships, and I'm so excited to talk to you guys about this because relationships and just human interaction is a major passion of mine. So this video is going to have 8 simple steps, 8, count them right there, to help you maintain healthy and harmonious relationships. Who are these steps for? You can use these on if you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, if you're married, or even if you're just trying to meet somebody new or increase the quality of your friendship. One thing I try to avoid is destructive arguments or disagreements, or even being somewhat blind to what another person desires and is chasing, in their lone life. And so these steps right here will help you get along with other people and get to the root of what you guys are dealing with, and also help build you up in good qualities like trust and respect so that you guys can achieve amazing things together. Step number 1 is know your common ground. With anybody that you meet, there's going to be certain things about them that you like and certain things about them that you dislike. Your common ground, whether that be your background, your interests, or even, like the way you guys dress, are very helpful things to begin and build a relationship. If you think about it, you can use common ground, what you guys both like, to even start a relationship. Say someone's wearing a really nice jacket or some awesome shoes, and you go up to them and you say, "Hey, that jacket is so cool. Where'd you get it?" Most likely they're not going to say, "Hey, you're stupid. Leave me alone." People love to get compliments, especially genuine compliments. So if you can notice and observe the common ground that you have with somebody else, that is the key to beginning to relate and to get to know someone else. And that can even open up doorways into talking to people that before you didn't really even have a chance or believe that you could talk to. So focus on your common ground and build that up, because that is going to be one of the easiest strengths that connect you two. Step number 2 is going to be our differences. Everybody, no matter whether y'all are born in the same town or born in different parts of the whole world, is going to have differences. And sometimes these differences are very interesting and very attractive and actually draw us to pursue this other person and get to know them better, because we don't understand some things about their life that are very common to them. Another thing about differences, as well as being attractive, is differences can bring in a lot of conflict because we fail to understand why somebody is doing something because it's not common to us. We don't understand the background behind it. So I really recommend being positive about differences. Even if it's something that bugs you, understand that this is a common thing for this person. And instead of maybe getting angry or trying to think that they're doing these things on purpose to hurt you, see this difference as something unique about the person and something to talk about and not to get emotional about. That we can't really control our differences in the beginning, but if it's really something that's going to cause problems, you can talk to them like a calm human being and get to the bottom of what really needs to be done in a harmonious way. Step number 3 is actually one of the number 1 reasons for the failure of relationships, and that's communication. When we're getting to know somebody, or even we've known someone for a long time, it's important to have good flows of communication. Most of our fights and disagreements come from misunderstandings. They're not even intentional steps or actions to hurt us. And so with communication, kind of when I was talking about differences and staying calm and being reasonable, with communication you want to do the same. And you also want to open up even pathways to where you guys can almost say anything to each other without hurting the other person's feelings. This requires trust, okay? And trust is built up over time. So in the beginning of a new relationship, communication is going to be much more difficult than as it goes along. There are some people, though, that have a "no, we can't talk about this," or "if you talk about this, I'm going to get angry and upset" type attitude, and they have it for the entirety of their lives. And that is somewhat of an unhealthy behavior to have. You want to be able to talk about anything, even problems and issues. If someone can share with you what their struggles are, then they have shared with you the most vulnerable thing about them. And whenever we can open up on that level, we only build ourselves upward. There's no going down. But if we hide these struggles and don't talk about negative things and don't have open two-way communication, then things won't ever be dealt with. And as well, you want to be able to talk to somebody and allow someone to talk back to you, because that's fair, and that's what we all notice, is we notice if we're being treated fairly. So with communication, be sure that you have open and honest communication. Be sure that it's two-way communication. And lastly, be sure that if they say something that bothers you, not to get too upset about it, to try to really think and understand where they're coming from. And if you are somebody who says things that really upset people, really evaluate what you're saying. Some things are too far and really push somebody out of their comfort zone, and we want to be respectful. And maybe this thing that is making someone uncomfortable, over time you can work on and develop to where they're not uncomfortable with it. But always, you want to be able to trust people, and then you also want to respect people. That's very important. The fourth step is boundaries. And boundaries are basically areas that people don't want us to get into and hurt or be reckless in. Boundaries are what I call no zones. These are things, actions, or words that you don't want to say or do because they immediately hurt the other person. And when you hurt someone, they usually go into this natural instinctive fight or flight mode. So boundaries are no zones, because if you go in there, you're asking for a fight. You want to be respectful towards someone else's boundaries, because for some reason it's a sensitive area in their life. And one thing I know about sensitive areas is that whenever we make a mistake in a sensitive area, it's magnified, unlike making a mistake in a normal area of someone else's life. And so if we're cautious and we're sensitive and we're respectful towards the other person, their boundaries and the reasons they set those up, there'll be a lot less fights and conflicts in your relationship. And you want to talk about these early on to know what this other person doesn't want you to do, or what's okay and what's permissible. And ultimately, guys, you want to be respectful, okay? If there's a boundary, kind of like when I was talking about some people that talk about anything, if there's a boundary that you think might be a little bit oversensitive or unreasonable, then talk to that other person about it and ask them, is this really something that you want to hold for the rest of your life, or is this something that you can slowly become more and more comfortable with? Step number 5. Step number 5 is love. And love is a very broad-reaching concept, and there's so many different aspects about it. So I'm going to be kind of short and sweet with the topic of love. One thing about love is that love wants the best for another person, and love brings about a lot of feelings and a lot of actions and behaviors. For example, a loving person will be patient with you. A loving person will be kind to you. A loving person will be respectful to you. And a loving person will care about your needs. There's all these things that we believe that loving people do. And we all have a pretty good idea of what it would probably feel like to be loved. But we also understand it's very hard to love people. It's very hard to hold love up constantly. And we have faults and mistakes in this area, and sometimes we do things that are unloving. With love and with our relationships, you want to establish that is the foundation, that no matter what, I am going to do my best to love you, and I will have mistakes, but I'm going to challenge myself to do loving things, like those actions I listed out. If someone's constantly disrespecting you, they're struggling to love you. But that can be bad, and at the same time, we all grow and we all learn. So as long as someone is being ambitious towards love and trying to treat you the best, and they're trying to learn and grow, I would consider that a good person. If someone is being arrogant and prideful and they don't want to change and they don't have a desire to change in order to love you more, then that's a person that you want to be careful about. They have serious issues going on in their life and they are struggling to treat you well. Love is like water and sunlight is to a plant. Love helps us grow. Love helps us feel amazing, and love helps us reach and expand and explore the world even more. Love is very important, and it's not always mushy-gushy. In our society, love can be this kind of cheesy, way too sensitive, unmanly thing, but love really is doing 100% to take care of the other person, and we all should strive and go for love. Step number 6. This is another favorite of mine. Step number 6 is issues and problems. Guys, spoiler alert, when you get into relationships, you're going to have issues, you're going to have problems, you're going to have fights. Even with people that you can never imagine that happening. For some reason, given enough time, people will have problems with each other. With my fiance, I remember early on, we just thought each other was the greatest thing in the world and we'd never have any issues and fights. But about a year into our relationship, we really started to have some struggles. And at first it was shocking because we thought that was weird. We thought that each other was perfect and there wouldn't be any fights and struggles. But once we understood that there were just simply things that we didn't understand about each other and maybe behaviors that we needed to change to improve the other person, and that issues and fights are completely normal. It's just the way that we deal with them that can be normal or not normal. That really helped us out a lot. Now when we have issues, we are very calm about it. We'll sit down and we'll talk, kind of meet with our minds and have a harmonious moment of explaining and talking about what worried the other person, what gave the other person fear, and we're both genuine about wanting to improve and wanting to be better. People are not perfect. People are going to have issues, and that is completely normal, guys. I'm sorry if I'm breaking someone's bubble, but life is complicated and life is hard. What we can do, though, because of that, is we can be reasonable, sociable, friendly people and talk about and improve on our issues. Number 7. This kind of goes along with issues and actually probably leads to a lot of fights. Number 7 is being defensive. And the reason why I figured that this was a very important point is something that I realized is humans have the fight or flight reaction, right? Whenever they feel threatened, they want to run away or they want to fight. Being defensive is basically that. And that's how we react to a threat. In a relationship, especially if this person is your wife or your husband, being defensive doesn't do a whole lot. And this is kind of a touchy subject because people want to protect and maintain their own value. And whenever we're defensive, that's basically what we're doing. But there's a better way of protecting our self-value. And that is what I would call being confident. A confident person doesn't need to tell others about their own value. They believe in it and they know it will shine through and show through. So whenever you're getting that feeling like you want to fight and drive that point home, how valuable you are, first remember, dmurph knows how valuable you are. That's why I'm making these videos for you guys. Second, remember, if you're fighting and maybe even hitting with your words the other person to get your point across, they're just going to feel hurt and they're going to go on the defensive too. That's why being defensive really doesn't work very well, because the other person will feel attacked. And if they don't understand that they've crossed one of your boundaries and made you upset, they feel like they're being attacked for no reason. And that's where you get the fights. So with being defensive, remember you have a great self-value. And remember that if you have to prove yourself to somebody else, you're not in a good place. You shouldn't have to prove yourself. And the last point with that is, if you really do feel like you have to prove yourself to somebody else, maybe someone you're married to, maybe someone you're dating, just remember that with the right amount of love and being consistent, they will see who you are. And as long as you're not leading them into fights on a pretty consistent basis, they'll be able to calm down and really get to know the real you and how wonderful you are. Step number 8. Guys, this one's kind of tough, really hard for me to accept, but there are winners and there are losers. Not everybody is going to be a great relationship for you as far as friends, as far as someone to date, or as far as a future spouse. It could be where they are developmentally in their own personality. It could be the timing of the seasons. There's very many different reasons why we cannot get along with every single person that we meet. And these relationships, normally you meet the person and it's just always awkward and weird. It's really hard to get along with them and it's really hard to see eye to eye. And I personally believe everybody at some point in time can get along. But I also believe that we have to do some good development and some good growth. And some people just aren't there yet. Some people just don't understand how to interact with other people in a way that's beneficial to both parties. And in these situations, you don't go, hey, I'm a winner, hey, you're a loser, get out of my life. We don't want to really get people too upset. But, you know, if you're feeling like it's not working, then maybe it's time to start pulling back and start maybe spending less time in that relationship. And just because you're having fights or issues with somebody, that doesn't mean it's not working, okay? First and foremost, you want to try to resolve and work things out and to grow in love towards each other. But again, if it's one of those loser situations where you guys just are not compatible, just accept a loss and move on in life. There are over 6 billion people in this world, and there is a friend and a lover for everybody. Guys, navigating relationships is not necessarily the easiest thing to do, but we were born and designed and made to interact with other human beings. So it's so important that we try to do the best in our relationships. And especially if you're wanting to get married, or if you're wanting to spend the rest of your life with somebody, you want to be the kind of person that can treat them better and better. And maybe, if they're not that kind of person, you want to be the person that can help show them the way to treat someone else with love and to give them all those wonderful things like respect and admiration and patience and kindness and all these things that lead to an enjoyable life. We can't always guarantee success. We can't always guarantee that we will be the most successful financially or materialistically, but we can guarantee that we will be the most enjoyable person to interact with and that we will love and respect others. All right, well, hey guys, hang in there. Keep going with your relationships. One thing I love to do is talk with you guys on the bottom in the comments. So if you want to shoot me a question or you just want to talk about something, please go ahead and comment. I love interacting with you all. And thank you so much. It's almost Christmas, so Merry Christmas to everybody. And you guys have a great, epic day. All right, bye.